Bruce Lee and Chuck Norris were scheduled to fight for real. Then Bruce made a decision that turned an enemy into a brother for life. Rome, Italy, May 1972. The Colosseum stands in the background, ancient and eternal, witness to thousands of years of combat. Gladiators fought here. Emperors watched. History was written in blood and sand within these walls. Today, a different kind of fight is being prepared. Not for survival, for cinema. Bruce Lee and Chuck Norris are filming the climactic battle scene for Way of the Dragon, the scene that will become one of the most iconic fight sequences in martial arts film history. But what most people don't know is that this fight almost happened for real. Not for the cameras, for pride, for ego, for all the reasons men have fought each other since the beginning of time. Chuck Norris arrives on set at 6 a.m. He's 32 years old, 6-time world karate champion, undefeated in tournament competition, 6 foot tall, 175 pounds of conditioned muscle, brown belt in judo, black belt in tang soo do, black belt in taekwondo, black belt in Brazilian jiu-jitsu, a legitimate fighter, a proven champion, a man who's earned every title he holds through years of dedication and competition. Chuck is nervous, not about the fight choreography. He's done film work before, small roles, demonstrations. He knows how movie fighting works. He's nervous because this is Bruce Lee, the man who's becoming a global phenomenon, the man who moves like no one else, the man whose speed and precision are legendary. Chuck has heard the stories, seen the demonstrations, watched Bruce dismantle traditional martial artists with ease. And today, Chuck has to fight him, on camera, in front of a crew, in the Colosseum, a location that adds weight to everything. Symbolic weight, historical weight, the kind of place that makes you feel the significance of what you're doing. Bruce arrives at 6:30 a.m. Simple clothes, black pants, white t-shirt, no shoes. He doesn't wear shoes when he fights, feels the ground better, moves better, connects better. Bruce sees Chuck, walks over, extends his hand. Chuck, good to see you. They shake. Chuck feels Bruce's grip. Firm, not aggressive, just present, confident. The handshake of someone who knows exactly who he is and what he's capable of. Thanks for doing this, Bruce says. This scene is important. I needed someone who can actually fight. Someone the audience will believe could challenge me. You're perfect for it. Chuck nods. Happy to be here. What's the plan? Let's rehearse the choreography first. I'll show you the sequence. We'll go slow, make sure we're safe. Then we'll speed it up for the cameras. Sound good? Sounds good. They start rehearsing. Bruce demonstrates the moves. Kick here, block there, counter this way, throw this strike, fall this way. It's a dance. Precise, coordinated, beautiful. But as they rehearse, something becomes clear to Chuck. Bruce isn't just going through the motions. He's testing. Every move Bruce shows Chuck, Bruce is also reading Chuck's response. How fast he learns, how well he moves, how much control he has, what his weaknesses are. Chuck notices, feels it. This isn't just rehearsal. This is evaluation. Bruce is sizing him up, not aggressively, professionally. The way a fighter studies an opponent, looking for patterns, vulnerabilities, opportunities. After an hour of rehearsal, they take a break. Sit in the shade near the ancient stones, drink water. The Italian sun is already hot, going to be a long day. Bruce looks at Chuck. You're good, really good. Your kicks are powerful. Your form is clean. You've obviously trained hard. Thank you, Chuck says. So have you. But you're holding back, Bruce says. Not accusatory. Observational. Factual. Chuck tenses slightly. What do you mean? In the rehearsal, you're pulling your strikes, controlling your speed, being careful. I appreciate it. Safety is important. But for the camera, I need you to really go for it. I need the audience to believe you're trying to beat me. That requires commitment, intensity, real energy. You want me to actually hit you? I want you to try to actually hit me. If you succeed, that means I failed to defend properly. That's on me. But if you're telegraphing, if you're slowing down to make sure you don't connect, the camera will see it, the audience will feel it, the fight won't work. Chuck considers this. Bruce, I'm a tournament fighter. I've spent years learning control, learning to stop strikes an inch from contact. That's how competition works. You're asking me to override that training. I'm asking you to trust me. Trust that I can handle what you throw. Trust that we're both skilled enough to make this work. And yes, maybe we connect a few times. Maybe we get bruised. But we're making something real, something that hasn't been done before. Real martial artists, real speed, real technique, on film for the world to see. That requires risk. Chuck looks at Bruce, sees the challenge in his eyes, but also sees something else. Respect, invitation, trust. Bruce isn't trying to dominate Chuck, he's trying to elevate him, make him part of something bigger. Okay, Chuck says, I'll trust you, but you have to trust me too. If I'm going to commit, you need to commit. No holding back on your end either, deal? Bruce smiles, extends his hand. They shake again. Deal. They go back to rehearsal. This time, different energy, faster, harder, more committed. The choreography is the same, but the intensity has changed. Chuck throws a roundhouse kick. Bruce blocks it. The impact is real, audible. Chuck feels Bruce's forearm like iron against his shin. That hurt, but Bruce doesn't flinch, just flows into the next move. Bruce throws a spinning back kick. Chuck barely dodges. The foot passes an inch from his face. Moving so fast, Chuck hears the air displace. That could have knocked him out if it connected, but it didn't. Because Bruce has that level of control, can throw full speed and still stop exactly where he intends. They continue. 30 minutes, 45, an hour. Both men sweating, breathing hard, but focused, locked in. The choreography becoming automatic. The body's learning, muscle memory forming. Then it happens. The moment that almost changed everything. What happened in the next 10 seconds almost destroyed their friendship before it began. Bruce throws a combination. Jab, cross, hook. Fast, really fast. Chuck blocks the jab, blocks the cross, but the hook catches him. Not full power, but real contact. Bruce's knuckles connect with Chuck's jaw. Solid, clean. Chuck's head snaps to the side. Stars, ringing in his ears. He stumbles back. Hand goes to his jaw. Checks for blood. None, but it hurts. Real hurt, not movie hurt. Bruce stops immediately. Chuck, you okay? I'm sorry, But Chuck isn't listening. Something flips inside him. Instinct, pride. Years of tournament fighting where being hit means you failed to defend properly, where being hit is losing. All that training, all that conditioning, all that ego comes flooding forward. Chuck drops his hands, steps forward, looks Bruce in the eyes. You want to go for real? The set goes silent. The crew stops moving. Everyone feels it. The shift. This isn't acting anymore. This isn't choreography. This is two alpha males, two champions, two men who've built their identities on being the best, standing in the Colosseum, about to find out who's actually better. Bruce doesn't move, doesn't respond to the challenge physically, just looks at Chuck, really looks at him, seeing not just a fighter, a person, a man who just got hit and whose pride is demanding satisfaction. Bruce speaks, quietly, calmly, but with absolute clarity, no. Chuck blinks. What? No, we're not going to fight for real. Not here, not now, not ever. You just hit me. I know, and I'm sorry. It was an accident. I misjudged the distance, my fault. But Chuck, listen to me. If we fight for real right now, one of two things happens. Either you beat me, and I lose face in front of my own film crew, in my own movie, and I spend the rest of my career resenting you. Or I beat you, and you lose face in front of everyone, and you spend the rest of your career resenting me. Either way, we both lose, because we lose the chance to be friends, to be brothers, to build something together. Chuck is still angry, still hurt, still wanting to prove himself. You think you'd beat me? Bruce doesn't take the bait. I think we're both skilled enough that it could go either way. I think you have advantages I don't have. Tournament experience, competition under pressure. Size, reach, I think I have advantages you don't have. Different training methods, different approaches, but Chuck, none of that matters. Because the real question isn't who would win. The real question is what are we trying to build here? Chuck's breathing slows, the adrenaline starting to fade, logic returning. Bruce continues. We're trying to make something no one's made before. A fight scene between two real martial artists, using real technique, real speed, real skill. Something that shows the world what martial arts actually looks like when it's done right. And we're almost there. We've been rehearsing for 3 hours. It's beautiful, it's real, it's perfect. But if we fight for real right now, we destroy all of that. The scene won't work. The movie won't work. And more importantly, this friendship won't work because there will always be that fight, that moment, that ego getting in the way. Bruce takes a step closer. Not aggressive. Connecting. Chuck, I hit you by accident. I apologize. It won't happen again. But please, don't let your pride make you throw away something important. We're not enemies. We're collaborators. We're artists. We're brothers in martial arts. And brothers don't fight to prove who's better. They fight beside each other. For each other. With each other. Silence. Chuck stands there, processing. Everything Bruce said makes sense. Logically, intellectually, but emotionally, Chuck still wants to fight, still wants to prove himself, still wants to know. Then Chuck looks around at the crew watching, at the Colosseum around them, at Bruce standing there, not in a fighting stance, just standing, open, vulnerable, offering friendship instead of combat. And Chuck makes a choice. He extends his hand. You're right, I'm sorry, my pride got the best of me. Let's make this scene great. Bruce takes Chuck's hand, shakes it, then pulls Chuck into a hug, a real hug, the kind men give each other when they've avoided something terrible and found something valuable. Thank you, Bruce whispers. You just did something harder than winning a fight. You chose wisdom over ego. That's real strength. They separate. The crew relaxes. The moment has passed. Crisis averted. They go back to rehearsal. But something has changed. The choreography is the same, but the energy is different. Before they were two fighters working together. Now they're two friends creating something meaningful. The filming begins. Take after take, the fight scene comes together. Bruce's speed, Chuck's power, the contrast, the drama, the back and forth. Bruce dominates early, Chuck fights back. The tide turns, back and forth, neither man clearly winning, both men clearly skilled, mutual respect evident in every exchange. Between takes, they talk about martial arts, about philosophy, about life. Chuck tells Bruce about his tournament experiences. Bruce tells Chuck about his theories on fighting, about efficiency, about directness, about the difference between sport fighting and real combat. Chuck listens, really listens, asks questions, challenges some ideas, agrees with others. They're not teacher and student, they're equals, exploring truth together. At the end of the day, after 12 hours of filming, they sit together, exhausted, satisfied. The scene is done. It's better than either of them imagined. Bruce says, you know what almost happened today? We almost fought for real. Yes. And you know what would have happened if we did? One of us would have won. No, both of us would have lost, because we would have destroyed this. Bruce gestures at the Colosseum, the cameras, the completed scene. We would have destroyed the friendship, the collaboration, the trust. All for what? For ego, for pride, for the need to prove we're better than each other. But Chuck, we don't need to prove that. We already know we're both good, really good. That's why we're here. That's why this scene works. The question isn't who's better. The question is what can we create together? And the answer is something neither of us could create alone. Chuck nods. I'm glad we didn't fight. Me too. But I want to tell you something. What you did today when you chose not to fight, that took more courage than any fight would have. Because fighting is easy. Ego wants to fight, pride demands to fight, but choosing peace, choosing friendship, choosing creation over destruction, that's hard. That requires real strength. And you showed it. I respect you for that more than I would respect you for winning any fight. Chuck feels something shift inside him. Bruce Lee, the legend, the phenomenon, just told him he respects him. Not for his tournament victories, not for his black belts, for his character, for his choice, for his wisdom. They become friends that day. Real friends. Over the years, they train together, exchange ideas, learn from each other. When Bruce dies in 1973, Chuck is devastated, attends the funeral, speaks about Bruce with reverence, with love, with gratitude. Decades later, Chuck is asked about Bruce Lee in an interview. What was Bruce Lee really like? Chuck thinks for a long time, then answers, Bruce was the most skilled martial artist I ever met, but that's not what made him special. What made him special was his wisdom, his ability to see beyond ego, to value friendship over pride, to choose creation over competition. We almost fought for real once during the filming of Way of the Dragon. I was angry. He hit me by accident. My pride wanted satisfaction. But Bruce did something I'll never forget. He offered me friendship instead of combat. And that choice, that moment, that decision not to fight, taught me more about strength than any fight could have. Do you think you could have beaten him? Chuck smiles. I think we both could have won, and we both could have lost. But the real loss would have been throwing away a friendship for a moment of ego. Bruce taught me that. Not through fighting, through refusing to fight. That's real mastery, knowing when not to use your skills, when to choose peace, when to build instead of destroy. What's the most important thing Bruce Lee taught you? That the greatest victories don't happen in fights. They happen in the moments when you choose not to fight, when you choose wisdom over ego, when you choose friendship over pride. Bruce and I could have fought that day. Everyone expected it, wanted it. Two champions, two egos, two men with everything to prove. But we chose differently. We chose to create something together. And that scene in the Colosseum, that fight that never really happened, became more famous than any real fight could have been. Because it was built on respect, on trust, on friendship. That's Bruce's legacy. Not just how he fought, but what he chose not to fight for. The fight between Bruce Lee and Chuck Norris never happened. And that's what made their friendship legendary. Because the greatest strength isn't defeating your enemies, it's turning them into brothers. Bruce Lee knew that, lived it, taught it, not through words, through choices, in the Colosseum in Rome. In May 1972, when two champions stood face to face and chose creation over destruction. That's the fight that never happened, and the friendship that lasted forever. The scene they created, still watched by millions, still studied, still celebrated. But the real victory wasn't the scene, it was the choice. The moment Bruce said no to ego and yes to friendship. Chuck Norris carried that lesson for the rest of his life. Taught it to his students, passed it forward, all because Bruce Lee knew some fights aren't worth winning, some victories require not fighting. The Colosseum has seen thousands of battles, gladiators fighting to death, warriors proving their worth through violence. But in 1972, it witnessed something different. Two warriors choosing peace, two champions becoming brothers. That's not weakness. That's mastery, real mastery. The fight that never happened. The friendship that changed everything. That's Bruce Lee's real legacy.